Here we are on a Sunday. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Patakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vikshakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती इति नामिने श्री वार्ष भानवी देवी दायिताय कृपाद्वये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाद्या श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत द्वंद्वहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रालंबार सांबोधे पदाम्बुजये ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जन प्रिया वैष्णवा सर्वभौमा श्री जगन्नाथयते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरूपश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते जयतं सुरतौ पंगोर्मम मन्दार्मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्बुजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद् वृन्दावरण्य कल्पद्रुमधौ श्रीमद् रत्नागर सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्द देवो प्रेष्ठयाल्बी सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रसारसाम्बी वंशीवटा तथा स्थिता काशन वेणु स्वने गोपेर गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam. So we have Meenakshi ji and Shreya ji and Srihari ji and Ayana ji coming to the class to learn about Krishna and his great devotees. So Meenakshi ji was not present last week. We covered the first five chapters of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. So this is a 7-volume book written by Srila Prabhupada's early devotee Satsvarup Maharaj. Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj currently lives in Albany in New York. So how did he get all this wonderful information? He got it by discussions and interviewing all of the different personalities in Srila Prabhupada's life after Srila Prabhupada left this world. So that's how we get all this wonderful information. It's a huge endeavor that Satsvarup Das Maharaj completed. So um, let's go into that topic. Before that, let's learn a bhajan. Today is the disappearance day of Jaydev Goswami, who has written so many wonderful bhajans. So we'll sing a bhajan that glorifies the different devotees, pure devotees of Krishna. Uh, This bhajan is written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, of course, we know is the guru of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, Srihari is joining separately in another call. Very good. Welcome. Okay, let's get started. Oh, Srihari ji is in a car, looks like. Okay. O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Hare Krishna, Swashika ji has joined us after a long time. Welcome. We are singing a bhajan. Um, O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Diya Pada Chaya Sodohe Amaya Tomara Charana Dhori Diya Pada Chaya Sodohe Amaya Tomara Charana Dhori O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Chaya Bega Domi Chaya Dosha Sodi Chaya Guna Deho Dase Chaya Sat Sanga Deho He Amare Bosichi Sangira Ashe O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Ekaki Amara Nahi Paya Bala Harinama Sankirtane Tumi Kripa Kori Shraddha Bindu Diya Deho Krishna Namadhane O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tumara shakati ache Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna boli daita ba pache pache O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Hare Krishna. So we can take turns to read. If Okay, looks like Meenakshi ji has come out of mute, so she can read, and then Shreya ji is raising her hands enthusiastically, so Shreya ji can read, and then whoever is in a position can read, can read. Three.
Prabhuji, I actually wanted to read the second one. That's why I came on mute.
Okay, sure. So, Ayana ji, would you like to read number one?
Sure. O Venerable Vaisnava, devotee of Krishna, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet.
Hari Bol. Does anybody know the meaning of venerable? Venerable is also a word for respectable. So, to Vaishnavas who are great devotees, we give all respects and we want to be at the shade of their lotus feet, which means we are following their instructions. To show respect, we can, of course, fall on their lotus feet and give pranam, dandavat. Does anybody know what dandavat is? Everybody says dandavat pranam. Dandavat means
Full
falling.
pra-
Yes, yes, go ahead.
to
Danda
fall. Uh,
Yeah,
Danda means stick.
yes. So just like if you put a stick down, it falls directly on the floor without any support, it falls. So similarly, we should fall at the feet of the great Vaishnavas to get their blessings and follow their footsteps. So that's what's called falling on the feet of Vaishnavas or taking the dust of their lotus feet. All means that we are following their instructions well and totally dependent on them for our sustenance. Okay, very good. So who's reading number two?
Me,
Is it?
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay. Teach me to control my six passions, rectify my six faults, bestow upon me the six qualities, and offer unto me the six kinds of holy association.
Hari Bol. Very nice. So there are so many sixes here. Six passions, six walls, six qualities, and six kinds of holy association. And in the end, we can read what these six different six numbers are. Okay, number three. Shreyaji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to read number three?
Yes, Prabhuji. I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtana of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving just one drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice verse you have read because all we need is faith. So, if a person who doesn't have faith will not chant the names of the Lord or do any worship, they think, oh, this is just a waste of time. So the first step in bhakti is shraddha or faith. Very good. And then we can engage in after shraddha comes kirtana. Yeah. So very good. Thank you, Shreya ji. Swashika ji, would you like to read number four?
Sure. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I'm simply your servant running behind you shouting, Krishna, Krishna.
Yes. So this Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the author of this nice bhajan, and he's saying all he wants is to shout the name of Krishna. And in Kali Yuga, that's all you need. If you chant the names of Krishna, that's the greatest worship because Krishna has made himself present in his name in Kali Yuga. So he's non-different from the physical person, Krishna, and his name are the same. So you can associate with Krishna by saying his name and chanting his mantras. So that's our greatest blessing in this age of Kali. Yes, very nice, Swashika ji. And now we can read this list of what are the six passions. So who would like to read this big paragraph? Anybody? Okay, Ayana, please, if you can.
Six passions are those pertaining to words, the mind, anger, the tongue, the stomach, and the genitals. The six faults are overeating, attachment to material things, inability to follow regulative principles, sense gratification, useless idle talk, and impure habits. The six positive qualities are enthusiasm in practicing devotional service, firm faith in devotional processes, a strong desire to attain prema bhakti, a favorable service attitude, avoidance of non-devotees, and appreciation of the company of devotees. The six methods of association are to go to an assembly of devotees, to invite devotees into one's home, to discuss and hear devotional topics, to take the Mahaprasada of devotees, and to offer Mahaprasada to the devotees.
Very good. So practically how we can follow the great acharyas is given so well in this paragraph. And now we can go to the topic. We have been learning about a great devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, who came to America to preach about Krishna and about Krishna consciousness. And we covered his childhood. We discussed he was born in Calcutta, and how at the right from childhood he was a great devotee of the Lord, of Krishna, and how he had his own Rath Yatra conducted for 8 days at home. We discussed the different topics of when he was a child, what happened. Um, we discussed about how he was almost, in flames, and some unknown person came and helped him. Um, we learned how he likes kachoris. He played a little bit of football. To cure his typhoid, they tried to give him chicken broth, but he couldn't even eat it because he was always a vegetarian. Right from that childhood, he never could taste any non-vegetarian food. And then we discussed about his college. He went to Scottish Church College, and we discussed about the school he went to, Motilal Seal School. It's still there in Calcutta. So he got a great education, and he used all his knowledge in the service of the Lord. How that happened, we are going to see. Um, so after his college, he went to Jagannath Puri, where he saw Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Maharani, and then he saw the Shadbhuja form of the Lord. And then he chanced upon going to and meeting his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, in the terrace of Alta Ganga, a place that Sri Hariji said he visited, and we also visited when we went to Calcutta. So we discussed all that, and then we discussed how he was a family man. He actually had 5 kids. He had many siblings also. His father, Gaur Mohan De, was a great devotee, and that's the reason he also got nice devotee qualities. And after he met his spiritual master, he was always wanting to serve his spiritual master, but he also took care of his family. He was a chemist. He had multiple. He set up businesses to take care. Uh, and then in 1922 is when he met his spiritual master, and then he got initiated in 1936. Uh, so, and then I think it is earlier than 1936 he got initiated. 1936 he got his last instruction. And what was interesting is, so in 1932 he got initiated. He got his name Abhay Charana. Earlier his name was Abhay Charan, that his father gave him, and then his spiritual master made it Abhay Charana, where he got the beads. And then he got instructions right from the first day he met his spiritual master on the terrace. Spiritual master told him, "Why don't you preach to the English speaking world, to the Western world?" So he, as a young man, he just heard that. But then, just before his spiritual master passed away, also, he sent a letter that he has to preach in the English language. So he took that instruction really to heart. And between 1922 to 1937, when his spiritual master passed away, he also got instructions to write a lot of books. So Srila Prabhupada has written so many books, and he's following the instructions of his spiritual master so well. So we covered all those topics, and then where we stopped was there was a war. The Second World War broke out, and there was a lot of fighting. And Srila Prabhupada understood that Krishna consciousness is the only way for everyone to love each other. not to think I am American, I am Japanese. But if we all know that we are all children of God, then we won't fight amongst each other. So he started serving his spiritual master by writing the Back to Godhead magazine. Um, he started in 1944. He designed um, the logo Back to Godhead, and on one side there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna showing the light, and then everybody following that light to come out of darkness. When they're living a life of selfishness in this world, they're getting this light of instructions from the spiritual master. So that is the logo that was he developed, and this is a fortnightly magazine. He started in 1944, but then his businesses were failing, and he didn't have any money to print. So until like the 1950s, he did not have another magazine come out. Okay, so that's where we start. This is our the sixth chapter where we are starting this week. So what happened was India was trying to get independence, and finally India got independence from the British on August 15, 1947, and then there was a lot of fighting between the Muslims and the Hindus for no reason. Again, they wanted their own country, so Pakistan was formed, and then Mahatma Gandhi, who was instrumental in getting the independence, had made Jawaharlal Nehru the first Prime Minister of India, and after that also there was a lot of riots and fighting, and there were hundreds and thousands of people dying, and they had to migrate between the two countries. So Srila Prabhupada was very sad to see the state of the situation. So he, even before India got independence, he knew that just having an independent country is not going to solve any problem. Mahatma Gandhi was working towards independence, but then after that, there was so many fightings and killings and riots. So he had said that independence, more than independence, what everybody needed is love for God. So he was trying his best to spread this message. So he even wrote to Mahatma Gandhi and said, now that you have secured independence, you should Mahatma Gandhi was a follower of Bhagavad Gita, but he had his own interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. He didn't follow like an acharya or guru to understand the real meaning. So Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to say, now using your fame and your position, you should help spread the word of Bhagavad Gita, and how Prabhupada will help him and all that. And he said, if you don't take to this, you're going to die a horrible death, just like Hitler and all those great revolutionaries went through. So, and Mahatma Gandhi didn't listen to Srila Prabhupada, and then what Srila Prabhupada had told Mahatma Gandhi in the letter came true. Mahatma Gandhi was shot dead, um, and uh, so even though he did a lot for the country, his own countrymen killed him. Um, yeah. So then Srila Prabhupada was trying to, have his run his business, but nothing was working out. He then decided to move from Calcutta to Lucknow. He set up a factory there. Then he had to close the factory because it was not successful. Um, so he had shifted his residence to Allahabad then, but he was always, wanting to serve his spiritual master. So he used to then didn't since he didn't have money to, publish his magazine Back to Godhead, he was sending the articles to Keshava Maharaj. Keshava Maharaj is his god brother, another initiate from his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he was giving those articles there, and it was being published in this magazine called Gaudiya Patrika in Bengali. So that's where um, the articles were being published. Then he moved to Jhansi, um, mostly for preaching. He decided that this city is really good for preaching, and he went there and he formed a community called the League of Devotees. So this was the first organization started by Srila Prabhupada in India. It's called the League of Devotees in Jhansi. There was a building that it's called the Bharati Bhavan, that he was able to get to have all the wonderful activities like bhajans and having devotees come there. But then there was a set of societal women who wanted to have their tea parties there. So they said, and they had good connections um, with the governor, and they said they need the building. So Srila Prabhupada, even though he established this nice building, he had to move out from there, um, and he had to go away. Um, and he gave all the devotees he found in Jhansi. He told them to, you don't have a building, but you can still continue activities in your home. So this picture is just showing where Jhansi is, and this is Srila Prabhupada's first disciple. His name was Prabhakar, and he got the name Acharya Prabhakar because he was helping with the League of Devotees. He was helping Prabhupada really well at that time. So, um, so if anybody asks you who is the first disciple of Srila Prabhupada, it is Acharya Prabhakar. And that Prabhakar Mishra was from India. He was a lecturer and medical officer in Jhansi. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada always had very, very big hopes to, increase the League of Devotees, not to a national organization, but to an international organization. But nothing was working out. He even lost his building, and he had to move out of Jhansi. So then he decided that he would move to Mathura or Delhi, so that he can start his activities there. And at this point, he was in a vanaprastha stage of life, because his um, children were all well settled, and now it was he was dedicating more time to for Krishna. So he moved to Mathura, and he didn't have a place to stay, so he reached out to his god brother Keshava Maharaj. And another thing that we didn't mention is his Guru Maharaj is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, right? And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's organization is called Gaudiya Mission, and he had many organization all over the country. But however, after his Guru Maharaj passed away, among the disciples, they started fighting with each other for power, and they wanted to be the next guru. Though his guru wanted like a set of all of them to work together, that did not happen, and there were many court cases and all that happening. So he wasn't getting any help from his god brothers. Um, except Keshava Maharaj was helping him a little bit, by allowing him to write in the magazine, and he arranged for Srila Prabhupada to stay in Mathura and Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada was editing this Gaudika Patrika, and he was staying in an ashram in New Delhi, and there were very young brahmacharis who were not getting along, and then Srila Prabhupada wrote to them and wrote to um, this his god brother that things are not working well. They're always quarreling there, and then Prabhupada continued to help um, with the magazine. This is called Sajjana Toshini. This is all part of his guru's organization. So he was trying to do all that there, but the atmosphere was not good there. And then finally he left that place also. And now he was without a place, so he kept moving around different places. He was homeless. He was going to a Vishnu temple. He got a room in Kapoor College of Commerce. So everywhere he went, he was still, trying to type as much as possible, write his write his magazine. But he couldn't get enough money to publish anything. So there's a lot of endeavor from Srila Prabhupada, uh, and one would think if you see this part of his life, he's just without any money. He's only thing has is he wants to serve his guru and spread Krishna conscious to the Western world. But at this point, you see he doesn't have any resources. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have anybody helping him. So he's moving everywhere without getting any help. But he had big plans. He wanted to, translate the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita to English. He wanted to translate Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, to English with the right message. And then he wanted to write Signs of Devotion. Um, and then he wanted to revive his Back to Godhead magazine, which was last published in 1944. But he needed donors and he needed someone to help him to get the money to restart his publications. So, so then he was determined to find a donor. So he went to many places trying to convince folks to help him publish the magazine and his books again. So he was neglecting his personal needs. In 1956, he was trying to print a Back to Godhead magazine. Um, he walked through the streets of Delhi to visit Surendra Kumar Jain, the printer, um, to read the latest proofs. So he used to, strive a lot to spread this message with his publications. All right. So there were instances where he even had to find the paper for printing, and um, he had to even arrange for the rickshaw to send the paper to the printer. And so we see a lot of hardships taken for Krishna by this great personality, Srila Prabhupada. So his financial condition was very weak. Sometimes the printing would be difficult because he was not able to arrange for paper. He wanted to preach the teachings of Gita. He thought of it as sort of movement, that it was the only way that people in the world could find peace. His conviction was very strong. So we see that even though he had a lot of setbacks, he was very determined that he will continue to print the message of Krishna and spread it so that others can read and their attitudes will change. Okay. All right. So he wrote an article in the Back to Godhead magazine in the March 16th. No time, a chronic disease of common man. So we know everybody when you tell them to spend some time to worship the Lord, they say, "I have no time." So he wrote a nice article to say, "No time is a disease of the common man." Because they don't know what to prioritize in their life. They're always thinking of trying to get enjoyment, but that enjoyment doesn't last. So always need to carve out some time for the Supreme Lord. And Srila Prabhupada wrote this nice article that was well received. So, in addition to selling Back to Godhead at tea stalls and delivering copies to donors, Abe also mailed out free copies both within India and abroad. One day, while delivering Back to Godhead to various addresses in the city, Abe suddenly began reeling, half unconscious, overcome by heat. So we see how he's trying to distribute in the very, very hot summers in Delhi. He even fell unconscious there. Okay. Then he becomes a resident of Vrindavan, where he decides to continue writing, and he started writing Srimad Bhagavatam translation. So earlier there was no translation that existed in English. So Srila Prabhupada started this great activity, which there are 18,000 verses, right? So he was thinking he'll require about 60 volumes he has to write. Um, so he was 60 years now. So at 60 years, everybody thinks of retirement, but Srila Prabhupada was just getting started. So he started his writing, and he was always looking for an opportunity to come to USA or to the West to spread this message. But he started writing, and then he wanted to print those books and then bring them to the US. But he didn't have any money, so he needed sponsors to, to move forward with his plan. But he was planning even at that time so well how he would execute it once he found nice donors who were willing to pay the money and sponsor him. And we see that even in that time when he had no resources, he used to follow a strict regimen. He would wake up before sunrise and he would write his translations. Um, he uh, he would follow the regular schedule. He would chant his rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by 4 a.m. he would go to the temples in Vrindavan and go to the Mangal Arati and get the blessings of the Lord. So he was trying so hard, and he was such a great devotee. And here at this point, nobody knew him or nobody was really following his life. But we see the greatness of a person by seeing what they do when they're alone or by themselves, when nobody's watching. How good a person is, we can know when. Because when many people are there, just to show that person, we might do something, but what do we do when we are alone? That determines what kind of person we are. And we see that Srila Prabhupada was so surrendered and always worshipping the Lord. So he had a kerosene burner. We know he's very learned, right? So he was not like a person who would just do something in a very inefficient way. Even while cooking, he developed a three-tier cooker, a kerosene burner. So where in the bottom tier, like where the steam would come and cook the rice, and just above that he would have like sabji or the vegetables that would cook with the steam, and then above that he would cook something else. So at the same time he's cooking three things at the same time to save time as well as to be very efficient in what he does. Um, so he would just take a nap for 16 minutes, and in the evening he would again go take darshan of the Lord. And these are pictures of his three-tier cooker that he used for his cooking. Um, thus he was also trying to find others who could give him money to print his books. So he used to go to this printer, Mr. Jain, and Mr. Jain used to wonder, like, without money, how is this man doing all this all by himself? Because he used to do the writing, he used to do the editing, he used to, once it's printed, he used to sell the books, and based on the money got from those books, he wanted to print the next set of books, and without spending much money on himself, he was just trying to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So then he got a one of the from his first disciple, Acharya Prabhakar Mishra, was in Bombay at that time, and he said, "You should come over, and you should preach the message of the Bhagavad Gita if you come to Mumbai." So he actually went to Mumbai, and he told that his room in Vrindavan they can still keep. He'll send 5 rupees that time for the rent. He would still pay, and he traveled to Mumbai. So this is where he finally gets a person to help him to go to America. So let's find out how that happened. Um, Okay, so Governor Munshi responded by offering Abe a post in the honorary professor of Bhagavad Gita. So he was lecturing in Bhagavad Gita in Mumbai. Um, so he understood that Krishna really had a purpose with his life, and he was seeing that things were going to fall into place. Um, so in 1956 in Delhi, he has been struggling and homeless, and now he's considered his last 2 years of traveling out of Vrindavan. He felt that his position hadn't really improved. Perhaps Krishna didn't want him to succeed in this way, but one positive thing he had gained, determination to go to the West and preach. There he would surely meet with success. So he knew he was prophesizing that actually none of his activities were really impactful in India, but when he follows his guru's instruction to go to the English speaking world and preach, that's going to work out very well. So and he was convinced that nobody in India were really taking him seriously, but he knew that if he goes to the West and preach to the Westerners, and then when the Westerners are convinced, and that will convince everybody in India, and that's what happened. Like when his disciples from America went to India, everybody thought, "Oh, these Americans are following, we should also follow." So now we see that um, the message of Krishna is growing in India also. Okay. So one night, Srila Prabhupada or Abe at that time had a dream from his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and asking him to take sannyas. So he had got similar dreams when he was, with his family, but at that time he couldn't take sannyas because he was taking care of his family, and there was a young family. He had 5 kids. But now that he got this dream, he decided that he should take sannyas. So he contacted his god brother Keshava Maharaj, who said he will he will give him the sannyas in initiation. And that's when they gave him the name Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So from that time on, nobody called him Abai Babu. They were calling him Maharaj or Bhakti Vedanta Swami or Swamiji, because now he became a sannyasi. So so this initiation ceremony as a sannyasi happened in Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math, and it was given by Keshava Maharaj or Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Maharaj. So there is this picture. So this is his initiating guru as sannyasi, Bhakti Keshava Maharaj. Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Maharaj gave Srila Prabhupada his sannyasa initiation. And that's when you get sannyasa is when you get the stick. It's called Tridanda. So mind, body, and words are going to be used for the rest of their life to preach about Krishna. So there are 3 sticks in there. They're all wound up together and with a cloth, and that's called the sannyasi danda. So there's another devotee also who got the initiation with Srila Prabhupada on that day. Okay, so we come to chapter 10. In a few minutes, we'll complete and go to the Kahoot. So then Srila Prabhupada really wanted to, continue his printing of the magazines, and he started doing that. He got a room in Delhi to go and work with the printer, and then he was also in Vrindavan, so he had 2 places. He moved to the Radha Damodar temple, where he could see um, he could see the Samadhi Mandir of Rupa Goswami also, and then he wrote this book, Easy Journey to Other Planets. This is the first book that Srila Prabhupada completed. Earlier, it was just the magazines. You see all these magazines that Srila Prabhupada published. It was fortnightly, so every 2 weeks he used to write and publish those. This is the first book, and this was inspired by the scientists at that time, because there were discussion about um, antimatter and how there could be a parallel universe. And then there was this Russian satellite that was getting launched, and it was saying that it went outside the Earth, and it is seeing other planets. So Srila Prabhupada connected that to the spiritual world, where everybody can go to with bhakti yoga, and they don't need to have like a mechanical rocket to take them to a nearby planet, which again is not inhabitable. But if you follow bhakti, then you can get out of this world and go to the spiritual world. So he had that nice message, um, and his strict regimen is shown in this picture. Um, okay. So then the important aspect then is we can go to where he started writing the Srimad Bhagavatam, and started printing the first 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. He wrote the first volume, and then he is using the money that he got by selling those volumes to write and publish the second volume. So finally, he wrote the 3 volumes, um, and it was ready. And at this time, by Krishna's arrangement, you can see that Srila Prabhupada's dream was starting to come true. He was trying his best to go to the West, and there was a very rich person, Sumati Morarji, who owned cargo ships that went to America. And again, it's not a passenger ship or the cruise ships that most people take when they want to travel to any other country. So this is just a cargo ship which is taking goods um, to different countries. So since this person, Sumati Morarji, owned this, and she was a nice devotee, and Prabhupada was giving her the books, and she felt that she will help Prabhupada and gave him a free ticket to travel to America. And then Srila Prabhupada had to get his passport, everything ready. This is Srila Prabhupada meeting the then President or Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri. Of this is Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister at that point, and he gave his Srimad Bhagavatam, and there were 50 copies that the Prime Minister ordered for his libraries, and all that was he was able to use to print more books and get ready for his trip to America. And so Srila Prabhupada left for America on August 13th, and in a ship, and the ship's name was Jaladuta, and Jaladuta's captain was Arun Pandya, and they arranged for vegetarian food for him. And Srila Prabhupada, all he had was a little, like a handbag and an umbrella. He didn't have anything else to take, and he had 40 rupees in his hand. So just imagine a person very old, 70-year-old, going to America with no money, no possessions. The only thing he had were 200 copies of his books. That was in another trunk, and that was part of the cargo. So he said that, Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam is going to America. And Srila Prabhupada himself didn't have anything at that point, but he got this free ticket that he used in a cargo ship, and he got into the ship. All he had was some dry cereal that he could eat. Again, in the ship there would be different kinds of cooking which he can't even taste. So he had with him like a bag of cereal. So just imagine, even a young person would not leave the country and go. This is the passport of Srila Prabhupada. So see how much faith he has in his spiritual master's instruction to go to the Western world and preach. Uh, all right. So this is the picture that shows Srila Prabhupada getting on that ship. And it's because he got on that ship that we are all here discussing about Krishna, because he spread the message and we got the message because of this great journey he took. So okay, we are running out of time. So I'll quickly conclude. So Srila Prabhupada got on the ship. The On the ship, it was very difficult for him. He got seasick, um, and he used to cook for himself. And the whole journey took 35 days. And finally, he reached the Boston Harbor um, on September 17th, 1965. So this is when the ship, so it took 35 days in 1965. We saw that he started August, and then he came in September to. So nowadays, when we travel, we take only a day to go in a plane. But because he was traveling in a ship, he took that long, 35 days to get to America. So much hardship taken. And in the ship, he had a dream when Krishna was coming, and in his dream, and giving him all protection, and he was getting his inspiration only from the Lord to continue at that very ripe age, to come to another country where he knew nobody. Uh, so Prabhupada reached, and then he first went to Butler, Pennsylvania, This is where there was Mr. Agarwal. Um, is the first host that Prabhupada was supposed to live with them for 1 month. He had never met them before. He went there. This Mr. Gopal Agarwal was the person who sponsored to take care of Prabhupada for 1 month when he came, and his father knew Srila Prabhupada, and that person was the one who, helped Prabhupada get the visa, etc. So his son was living with his American wife, Miss Sally, and they were living in an apartment in Butler, Pennsylvania. And Srila Prabhupada is here, and they're a regular family. They're eating regular meat and everything. And Srila Prabhupada went and stayed with them for a month. And Srila Prabhupada cooked his own food. And Sally Agarwal, usually nobody likes bringing a new person and have a guest for 1 month. But Sally was very fond of Srila Prabhupada because he was very well mannered, and he used to care for everybody, and he used to do his own stuff and help with everything. So he stayed there for a month. And then Srila Prabhupada tried to preach in the YMCA there. Um, and then tried to sell some of his books. And then when the 1 month was over, yeah, in this picture you see how Srila Prabhupada was like cooking in the modern kitchen with his three tiered cooker. Um, and he used to whatever he cooked, he offered to Krishna and gave it to everybody in the house. So they were really relishing the Krishna Prasad. And then Srila Prabhupada moved out of Butler, Pennsylvania. He decided to go to Philadelphia and meet a professor. And then he met Dr. Mishra, who had welcomed Prabhupada to come stay with him. But Dr. Mishra was, a follower of Shankaracharya, who was saying like that everything is one. That is not the philosophy that Srila Prabhupada follows. Srila Prabhupada sees Krishna as the Supreme Lord and all of us as jivas, but the Mayavada philosophers think that we are God. We can become God. So that's a different philosophy. And Srila Prabhupada was not allowed to speak because that was against what Dr. Mishra was preaching. But Srila Prabhupada had to live with him, and Srila Prabhupada used to give him nice prasadam and everything. And then he moved out of there, and then he decided to go to New York City, and he also, Srila Prabhupada was reaching out to everybody in India to send him some money to set up a temple in New York, but nobody cared. Nobody responded to him, even though all his god brothers, meaning the same guru as him, they even though his guru wanted to spread this and he was helping his guru, all his god brothers who had a big organization in India, they didn't help him. He had to, find his own way. And in New York City, the sirens and bells and fire engines were ringing, and his weak heart used to, feel very stressed with all those sounds coming. And But he was trying his best to, find devotees and convince them. And then we'll discuss in the next class how he established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and how he got his first devotees. How did people get interested to hear about Krishna? All that we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, so now we can go to the Kahoot. Shreya ji and Srihari ji have their hands raised.
So probably you told the Pakistan and India war. It's still going on.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, why can't you stop that war and leave us it in peace?
Yeah, that's because, everybody is thinking what they're saying is right. It's their own false ego. making them think that, let's just keep fighting. Similarly, Israel and Palestine also, the fights have been going on for a long time. And that's where Jesus Christ came. He's Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And so we see that the people, if they don't get the right message, they'll keep fighting with each other. So this is very important that we learn the real knowledge, not the knowledge that separates us, but the knowledge that unites us. Okay, and that's Srila Prabhupada's message. So now let's go to the Kahoot. If we are ready, yeah, the game pin is 339612. Okay, Swashika ji has joined, Meenakshi ji has joined, Shreya ji has joined. Okay. Okay, all four of you have joined, so I'm going to start. I'm guessing Shreya ji is not back yet. Okay, first question for today from chapter 6 to 15. Okay, Abhay thought that Indian independence would bring real solution to the lack of Krishna consciousness. True, false, maybe, not a question that Abhay thought about. Yes, the correct answer is false because Srila Prabhupada thought that the independence of these countries, just like Shreyaji told, even though after independence we are still fighting with Pakistan and India. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada knew from the get-go that independence is not going to help. Who was the first initiated disciple of Srila Prabhupada in India? Radhelal Mullik, Acharya Prabhakar, Suryamukhi Sharma, Reva Shankar. Yes, Acharya Prabhakar. Abhay printing the Back to Godhead magazine was a great labor of passion, success, love, preaching. Yes. So actually it's yeah, it'll help in preaching, but it was a labor of love. That's the term used, right? Because Srila Prabhupada loved his spiritual master and it was his labor of love for Krishna also. Okay, Abhay wrote an article for Back to Godhead on the topic of dash, a chronic disease for the common man. Stress, passion, COVID, no time. Yes, no time, a chronic disease for the common man. Very good. Abhay would use the dash to cook rice, potato, and sabji at the same time. Kadai, tawa, three-tiered cooker. Yes, three-tiered cooker. Okay. Srila Prabhupada received the sannyasa order from Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Maharaj, Bhakti Vilasa Tirtha Maharaj, Narayana Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is who he got the initial mantra initiation and Brahman initiation. The sannyas initiation happened only after his spiritual master left the world. So it was given by another disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. His name was Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Maharaj. Okay. All right. Swashika ji is on fire and everybody's doing well. Okay, from his room at Radha Damodar temple, Srila Prabhupada could see the samadhi of Dash, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So one of the six Goswamis, Bhajan Kudir and the Samadhi, he was seeing when he wrote all his Bhagavatam translation. He was drawing inspiration from that great Vaishnava, and it's Rupa Goswami. Okay. Dash secured a place for Srila Prabhupada in the cargo ship in which he traveled to the Western world for the first time. Arun Pandya, Ramamurthy Mishra, Gopal Agarwal, Sumati Morarji. Yes, it's Sumati Morarji. So it was a woman who owned the cargo ship who gave him the free ticket, complimentary ticket. What was the name of the cargo ship that Srila Prabhupada traveled to reach the Western world for the first time? Jala Vihar, Jala Vahan, Jala Duta, and Jala Krida. Okay, Jala Duta. All of you got that right. Excellent. Okay, 10th question. How many days was the journey on the cargo ship from Calcutta to USA? 35 days. Excellent. Good job. Nowadays, we don't even travel 35 hours to go from India to America. Okay, how many sets of 3 volumes of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam did Srila Prabhupada bring to the USA? 1, 10, 100, 200. So this was the main cargo he had. It was 200 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, broken into 3 volumes. Okay, in which year did Srila Prabhupada travel to the USA? 1990, 1965, 1900, 1890. Yes, 1965. Okay, which temple Srila Prabhupada resided in Vrindavan before going to USA? Radha Shyam Sundar Temple, Radha Madan Mohan Temple, Radha Damodar Temple, Radha Madhav Temple. Yes, Radha Damodar Temple. That's from where he saw Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. He wrote his books. How old was Srila Prabhupada when he arrived in the USA? 67, 68, 69, 70. Okay. Okay. How many rupees Srila Prabhupada had in his pocket when he left USA in Jaladuta from India? 45, 50, 44, 40. Just 40 rupees. Very good. All of you got that right. Let's see. Oh, one more question. Srila Prabhupada initially stayed in Dash, Dr. Mishra's apartment in Riverside, Dr. Mishra's yoga studio, YMCA, Bowery. Yeah. Okay, very good. So let's see who are in the podium. Third place goes to Shwashika ji. Second place goes to Shreya ji. And first place goes to Ayana ji. All of you are winners. Yeah, 2 Meenakshis are on 4th and 5th place. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you so much for listening and learning about Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarupascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shreya ji. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Swastika ji.